All right, hello, hello, hello. We're back here. Just play some career. So I just did some workshop, and now we'll do some career. So let's see where we're at in career again. So 162,000, good bit of money here. Got that cage there. We got some stuff way down here because of the we had no clip going. Let's see what we have in the base for resources here. We have coal 355, so we're almost done with coal. We've got a good bit of diesel. And we got a good bit of diesel over there for cash if we need it. We did buy Komodo. So we have that. Got Komodo there. Let's check containers. I don't know about containers right now. Let's make sure no clip is off. Okay. We had thin amount of containers. Not have much in the way of containers. JSI, and this was the urine freight. Let's see what we're going to do. Let's see what Tethys cost again. I can't remember what Tethys costs. $314. Okay. I knew it was going to be too much, but I didn't know by how much. All right, let's see what we want to do here. Let's go ahead and sleep, see if we can't get a mission. Let's go ahead and override time off, override weather off. Been kind of playing with sunshine for a while now. Do a little bit of garbage weather. We could do some fishing. I could drop some pots out there, but let's get some sleep going here. All right, picnic boat services and Key Road Bridge. Okay, let's see about that one. $2,000 there for the repairs. Where can we sell fish? Do we have one? I think we have one over here at Komodo. Don't really want to do that one right now, so let's go ahead and sleep. Two casualties near the chemical plant. That's more what I'm looking for. All right, let's see. All right, we might even be able to get this one. That's conduct repairs. Pickup truck in distress requiring assist. Rescue 2 casualties near the chemical plant and take to the hospital. So they likely just need medical. So let's take that ambulance we had last time. This would be a good run for our new helicopter, but I would have to land it, which isn't a big deal. I'd have to hook up all the electronics. I don't really have that set up. I don't have any avionics in there. It's foggy, so let's not do that right now. And I was getting ready to like get in all the panels, and I was like, ugh, I don't want to dig through the panels right now. So. All right, we've worked on this ambulance last time. We got it to be more stable, balanced. What's up with the lights? Okay, something's up with the lights. What happened to the lights? Why are the lights not going? What's that? Extinguishers. A paintable indicator there, going there. Okay, did these ever get connected to anything else, though? I don't think they did. The battery is going to here. That should go to that light there. Let's check it out. That's better. Alright, we gotta fix that. So just little electrical problem there. Yeah, there we go. Should have a fire extinguisher in there. We do. Okay, good. Give the siren a break for a little bit. Got the lights on. Let's see if we can find this picnic boat real quick. Let's see where it was supposed to be. Where is it? We're on this island here by the ramp. Right here. Okay, so it should be further along. It's further down the road. All right. If I can climb down there, I'll go do it, but if I can't, I'm not going to bother. Let's not destroy ourselves here trying to do this mission we're probably not going to do anyway. We're showing up here. Up by this bridge. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to get up. Yeah, there it is right there. Screw it, not bothering. It's by the chemical plant. We could climb up there, but I don't really care. Got 139 kilometers an hour here. Alright, there's the truck. There's an animal around. What do you need there? Yeah, of course I put the wrong one on the bed. Some sort of squeaking animal under me. Alright, just the two? Just the two, alright. So it's good. I want to get over to Komodo, so we'll head over there. How's it going there, Daniel? Good to see you. Alright, good. Need some cash money, dollar bills. Let's put a little bit of fuel on us. Alright, we're full. Oh, lovely, lovely. Be much more fun. I'm trying to get to the point where, like, if you're watching the workshop video there, I'm trying to get to the point where I have so many essentially modules that it makes it super easy to build, where I just need to pretty much build the shell and then I can use all the modules. And I have to kind of still pull shit up builds, and that's taking forever and it's kind of obnoxious. So, you know, eventually what I'm going to do is get to the point where I don't have to do all that, stripping them out. And so I'll take like helicopter panels and they can all go in there. But I need to make some of my own. What's that? That's Dean Hall. I have to make it so that I can, North Sawyer parking lot. That's not bad, 10,000. Trying to see, could I put any of these on a train? That's Dean Hall right there. Go do a little fishing. You know, so, like right now, all that, like, ideally I want it as a module where I pretty much, I take the thing, it's got all the panels connected and everything else, and I just stick it in the build. And so, especially with this new update where we reduce the nodes, and by stacking nodes, that really helped out with being able to do some of that, where I can make the stuff smaller, but I need to get it where I can, like, it's all set and it just needs to be put in the build. And I'm not at that point, so I was like, oh, I don't want to dig this apart. And then I had to, like, convert that over to my new autopilot, so just a lot of work to do. What's the beam trawler cost me? 205 for the beam trawler. Okay. Crab 22 is what? 141. So I would still have some money left with that, but I need to put the pots on. So let's not get into that yet. Let's go ahead and we'll sleep. We'll put that ambulance away and we'll sleep. Because once I can do that, it's like, oh, just pull up helicopter. Microcontrollers, they'll have the autopilot, they'll have all the screens I want to put in there, and those all go in, and then, you know, the lights, all that stuff, overhead panel, all that stuff will be a module. And I'm like, okay, well, it's going to be a transverse helicopter, so I need the transverse controller. I put that in. You know, like it didn't take me all that long. You guys watched me build the shell. Didn't take that long to build the shell. The part that takes the longest amount of time is, like, I gotta either make those micros or move them over. And then it makes it much harder to, like, test. So I want to get through that testing phase first. It's like when I was testing yesterday, for example, it was very easy because I press 6, the engine starts, take off, fly away. When I get into, like, long startup processes, I have to, like, turn the batteries and the masters and all this stuff, and it takes some time. And so, well, I like that once you're actually using the vehicle, makes testing take forever. Okay, that's the spy cakes for 2,000. We could do a spy cakes here for 2,000. Let me see if I can. That's not a ton of money, but could do that. Let's see what. I'm just gonna bring it up to dawn here. Let's go like 5 a.m. so that we can get some daylight here. I need to make sure I can get this off over the tracks too. Nope, stop hitting shit. I already forgot which one it is. That's BVG. This one's got to be right there. Yeah, that's Spy Cakes. Yeah, so we can do some crabbing at some point too. Just like kind of watching where my money's at. I had to look down the chemical plant if it had some trailers that needed moving. We're doing a good 80 miles an hour here, so. I want to keep the money rolling in here. I'd like to get some more bases. I'd like to get some bases in the mainland, some base down in the arid biome. We got a lot of money tied up in diesel. We have 13,000 liters of diesel in one of the bases, 9 in the other. So we get quite a bit of diesel. We've got 22,000 liters of diesel at $3, so it's $66,000 worth of diesel tied up. So we can use that anytime we need a little cash injection, but we're making good money. Goddamn. Fallout, go out, please. That's not good. What did I even hit? I should have a fire extinguisher in there. I just didn't want to die. I hit the side a little bit. It clipped and hit. Problem is I can't get in that door. And I think the fire extinguisher is here. Engulfed it is. Alright, I'm gonna no clip here real quick. Go get a fire extinguisher. Because there is one in the truck. I couldn't get it on the way out. So I'm just gonna screw off and get this and then we'll come back. Alright, so I gotta be careful. See my... Okay, see how those spawn in? Gotta make sure they spawn in first. That's where a lot of people, I think, they have problems where they're disappearing. What my hypothesis would be, their problem is they have a shit computer. I don't have a fire extinguisher on me already, do I? Because I just did one with it. No, okay, I didn't... I put it back. Oh, I didn't need it. Okay, that's what it was. I didn't need it. Because, like, you see how they spawn in? Those things despawn so you don't have a ton of resources going at once. And I think when people have a shitty computer, it's not saving them back in the world. And so I think that's what's happening. And so, yeah, you could say it's a game problem to a certain extent, but also it's like it's a shitty computer problem too. Where was it? Wait, did we get this far? We did. I think we're... So watch, my vehicle should spawn in the world. There it is. So see how it spawns in? That's also what I think's happening at 99%. Or like, I see it went out already. Where a lot of people are having problems at 99%. Because it's trying to spawn all the vehicles in. Do I not have a fire extinguisher in here? All right, this is definitely getting a fire extinguisher then. So this door, I can push it open, but I couldn't get it back. So I got to put a fire X here. And I need to get a torch in here. So those are more things I need to put on this build. So I think that's a big part of what's happening with some of the people's like missing things and save problems is their computer's just not good enough to be saving these things. Now, I do agree. Would it be great if the game was better at doing that? Sure. But also it's like, you know, you kind of have to account for your own computer too, you know? If you don't have a very good computer, you can't expect very good results either. You know, I've never had that issue. I think I may have had it once, and you know, I have a good computer, so I don't run into a lot of these issues that a lot of people have. You know, so a lot of these issues that you know they can be frequent issues, but it's also people frequently have terrible computers, so it's you know at least partly their fault as well. You know, it's not 100% the game's issue. It's because you can see that, you know, some people don't have this issue at all. Where the hell am I? Did I get this far? Yeah, I did. I'm right about here. I think. Did we get that far? There it is. All right. Like, you can even see the wheels disappeared. Alright, so especially for a tow truck, or this cannot function as a tow truck, it should have some repair tools and it needs a fire extinguisher. Trucks in the US at least are supposed to have a fire extinguisher on them, period, so. we gotta put these on the build. Something down there that's not working. Yeah, I hit the guardrail going 80 miles an hour, so that would be what caused the explosion, which hit the guardrail going 80, you kind of expect to have an explosion. So I'll put a torch and I'll put a fire extinguisher on this. Most of my trucks have it under the seat. Usually they're right by the driver's seat, so you can get it. You know, we have one in the cockpit. Most commercial applications, you're required to have a fire extinguisher. You know, we got four fire extinguishers in my airplane. That was a good update they had the other day, that buoyancy block. I think, you know, over time we'll find a lot of uses for that. That's something people have been asking for a long time. I think they're doing a good job of going through things people have been asking for and getting them in the game. You know, they could have just abandoned it a long time ago, but they're still doing monthly updates, so that's a positive thing. Oh, shit, we're gonna crash? We might crash here. Yeah, Windows 11's been having a lot of issues that are causing problems with games. Like I'm crashing right now. Let's see. Alright, that's a crash there. And I have no idea what caused the crash. Could be my PC. You know, the assumption that it's always the game is pretty silly as well. Like, you know, a lot of games I play that. So one thing we're going to do here is, you know, what did we make? We made 6. That's going to be 8. So let's add 8 grand onto our game. So, you know, that was not our fault, and we lost 8 grand because of the crash. So really, go in your world, look for your money. 8 grand in there, so I got, let's see, 162,000, so 170,000. Save that. And I'll open up the game, and then that should get us back to where we're going. All right, let's read some of Daniel's chat here. Yeah, I've pretty much been going through my microcontrollers as I work on a build. Yeah, I haven't seen any frame changes, but Daniel, do you have the elevator selected? because I always select the elevators off. And it wouldn't surprise me if the elevators cause problems if they get jammed up. But, you know, I wouldn't say that's the whole deal with it. But that's one thing that I always select off and saves me a lot of issues. I'm trying to see if there's a base that would be worth us spending some cash on. FJ Warner always is worth doing. FJ Warner, so we can get into drilling, could be worthwhile. It's only 80 grand. We have a good bit of money. So let's do that. I think that's a worthwhile thing. It's far enough away. That will let us get back and forth and do some stuff over there. I like that idea. Let's see. Let's go over to Draymore. We'll launch an airplane. We'll fly down to FJ. We'll buy that base. Yeah, that's something I always shut off because the elevators you use in linear tracks, and if you kind of notice, like when I no-clipped over there, parts of my vehicle despawn, then respawns the whole vehicle, despawns and respawns. So every time you get out of range of the elevators, they're gonna have to despawn and respawn. And it wouldn't surprise me if those get hung up and cause some issues. And I think it's such a you know, a lightly used item. You know, because I always tell people, like, try seeing, get rid of your elevators, or see if your elevators are hung up. Because I haven't used them in so long, and I've never used one. I don't think in game. I just deselect them because I could see it as something that would get hung up. So this was one of the winners for one of Alistair's challenge, the Canary. So let's go ahead and take the Canary down to FJ and buy FJ. I gotta try to remember how to run this sucker. Flapping. Alright, let's keep reading some chat here. Oh, thank you, thank you. The canary. The new helicopter for Alistair's challenge is the pigeon. Alright, we should be there in about 4 minutes. What is it doing? Got some sort of wind up going on here? Also too slow, so I'm speeding up a little bit, see if that knocks it out of its bullshit. Yeah, so we'll go down here. We'll start drilling, I think, because I want to kind of get to some more endgame stuff. You know, getting bigger vehicles, getting more bases, being able to go do whatever I want on a whim. So, getting some oil going is a good way to get that. You know, getting some bigger mining vehicles, getting to the iron mine, doing stuff like that. So all manner of thing will be benefited by me getting a boatload of cash. my temperature has not gone above 60. This is the first time I've started at Draymore, and I think it worked out well. I've enjoyed starting there. Why is that not shutting the engine off? Fuel valve should shut the engine off. There it goes. Just had enough in the fuel manifold, but it should be running the PID. I'm just gonna no clip over there, so I don't have to run. So 80,000, we got a good bit of money there. That's cobalt iron. See, these are some cool trailers now. At first, I wasn't thrilled with them because I thought they have to have that system, but they don't. So, a little bit happier with them now. Nope. Prop is still moving fast enough to hit me. It could hurt me. Was not sure. Alright, good. Let's go ahead and let's save. What's today? 21? Alright, good. I want to make sure that save goes away at the top. Like, you imagine if you had some slow-ass hard drive, that autosave glitch where it just keeps autosaving, like, you need the save to stop, and mine is super fast because I got a good computer. Spy Cakes, 13. Soaring North, Spy Cakes, JSI, what was that, JSI 11? JSI 11. South, BVG, BVG, Komodo, BVG, Spy Cakes, Urine, Soaring North. Alright, so I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do. One, we could truck this shit over. This is going to the iron mine. Could do what I was saying with drilling. Might do that. Let's get our drilling going first. This one go to the farm. Nope, JSI dock. Let's get drilling because that's something we need to do. So I'm going to go ahead and get a vehicle to go drill. You know what we'll do? Let's bring one of those iron mine ones on the way. We'll drill, and then we'll drop it off. Oh, pigeons? Yeah. So we have to go past the coal mine to get to the cobalt anyway. So we'll take the one for cobalt. And then we'll stop, we'll mine, get the drill going, and then we'll come back. Use the shadow to help me. There we go. All right. Did you have it on there a little while ago where you made some change to the tractor? Because I did see that. Should prove this at some point. I don't have any lights on this thing, so I'm gonna go ahead and just put us back in daytime because I don't have any lights on this thing, so it's gonna be obnoxious. Yeah, it's how it be sometimes in college. gonna need 6 rods total. I've got 3 in there so far, so another 3 after this. Got the cash left. Yeah, I should have plenty to put the pumping rig up. You got to make sure you don't go down too much in cash where you can't do anything. So this should be enough for me to get rid of this and put in the pumping rig. Part of my refining rig, it was designed to demonstrate you only needed 1 furnace to be able to refine. Because people thought you needed like, oh, I need like 12 furnaces to refine. It was no, you can use 1 furnace. You just need to slow down the oil flow. And so one thing I could do is further improve it to make the temperatures get higher. But the whole reason why mine only used 1 furnace was to demonstrate that you could do it with 1 furnace. So I could further improve my stuff here. It's just, I don't see much need because I always have plenty of oil because it's pumping the whole time I'm gone. It's refining the whole time I'm gone. So it's doing all the work. I don't really need to sit there. I don't need it to do it super duper fast. I also don't need billions of dollars. You know, it's pretty easy to print money once you get going. What's that? 1, 2, 3. What's that? 4 rods total. See where this mission is too. Do I have no clip off? I have no clip on. Let's shut that off. Bunch of this stuff could be improved. It was just, again, it was part of a tutorial. It was like, hey, let's make something real simple. You guys can, you know, I can explain to you to get the job done. It wasn't like, let's make the perfect system and then I use it. So I could make it better. Yeah, you don't need a ton. It's like once you kind of know, you know, I think my analogy of like you throw something in a hot pan for a second, it's not going to be cooked. You put it in an oven for an hour, it's going to be cooked, you know. You need to slow down the time. You need to keep it in the oven longer. Because, you know, people like mow better, mow stronger, mow faster. It's like, well, put it in the, you know, you quickly touch it to the pan, you know, a piece of meat to the pan and take it right out. It's not going to get cooked. You have to leave it in the pan. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 5. The nice thing with this is good passive income. Like this is just gonna go and make a bunch of oil and diesel and jet fuel once we go do something else. Just dancing to music. Yeah, it's about 60, I think, on this hole to get it to go. So currently got 1, 2, 3, 6 with this one. So this should hit oil, I think, on this one. This next one. You like the other spot? Let me just look. This one over here. Which one? This one? Which one do you like? It's the it's the river barge distress. Which one do you like? This one? No. Let's find one that has oil right there. This one's got rail real close. The rail's right here. I use a pump car to get it. So. It's like, how's it nighttime already? It's like to the west by the hospital. Oh yeah, this one. The only problem I have with this one, I've used this one before when I was there. The problem is it's so close to this hospital that if you drop people off at the hospital and you have a keep active block on this, this will never despawn, and so people start piling up and then you get lag. I had that in one of my career games. This was too close to the hospital and it didn't allow people to despawn, so that was a problem I had. Alright, when do we think we're gonna hit oil here? Probably gonna be close soon here. Maybe one more rod. Yeah, exactly. I think we need one more rod. I think it's right after this rod gets in, so, if memory serves. This one needs grippers. Like, I've got some stuff that needs work on this one here. So I added that crane a while ago, so if you accidentally drop something into the hole, you can use that crane to get it out. We're gonna hit oil here. Should be soon. I think it's on this rod. I think it's one. I think it was like 70. 60 to 70, something like that. Can't remember. We're gonna hit this, let's try and get a picture of when the oil goes. 62, so it's got to be close. Since it's been a while since I've drilled any. Oh, there we go. Alright, good. That's that. It's stopping. It is. It's just slow. Alright, so we want to disconnect the table clamp. I'm going to save. Alright, just do backup. Alright, so that's good. Let's go ahead and despawn this. Alright, why can't I get in that bench? Is it because this is too close? It's the turtles. I was like, what is that noise? It's turtles. There we go. Alright, so we got the pumping rig in. Let's see how much money we got left. Yeah, so 50 grand. So we got a good bit of cash left. That's the fast pump there. I want to make sure this starts up, and then we're going to go drop that trailer off. What is? Oh, it's full. See, that's already full. This fills like it's so fast that it just fills up so fast. Wait for this to get up to temp. We're almost there. Another 10 degrees and start fraction. We can get out of here. Again, this was designed to show you could use one furnace. It's not the quickest or most ideal setup. It was just designed for that one purpose to demonstrate that it's a function of you need to keep the oil inside of the you need to keep the oil in the furnace longer to get the temperature up. Keep it in the oven longer. There we go. Alright, good. So that's going. Get out of here. And let's save this to the other one. Alright. Let's go into Cobalt. There's a lot more they could do with those logistics. I really would like to see pallets. That would be fantastic. Because, you know, so much of it is like the accessory vehicles. So, like, you make yourself a flatbed, you load the pallets on with a forklift. You know, you can make some of those cool trailers that have the forklift that stays on the trailer. You know, you can move your pallets onto planes, you can move them onto boats, you know, you can move them onto trains. They're just very intermodal. This is a cool design. Big metal pipe. That's awesome, Ace. Glad you're enjoying it. Glad things are making some sense. Don't know where this exactly is supposed to be delivered, but we'll find it. There's some buffalo. Buffalo! That'd be great if they came up with another DLC for the game. Be fantastic. Probably coming close to this this mission too. The mission's right up there, but I don't have the equipment for it here, and I don't have the money for a new base to spawn something. There are gas stations where I can spawn stuff for free, but you know, one reason I want to kind of move down here and get that oil going is start to get some money for some late game stuff. So for example, I've got a ton of mining equipment I'd like to get out into the world. And so I started working on a much bigger loader. I've got my rope shovel, I've got a bunch of different mining equipment that I would like to keep improving. And so all of that would be helpful for, so there's that bus right there. So we need some copious amounts of cash to do some of these things. So I would like to get Tethys in. Tethys is getting new diesel engines and azipods, getting rid of kind of the drive system it has. That Tethys could use some more work. Need to get some screens in there, make some custom Lua for that. So kind of want to get to that point. I don't want to just like spend all day working on it in the workshop and then not get to use it. So I want to get it in here and then work on it. I'm not sure where this has to go, but I think it's probably maybe up there on the side street. So we'll figure it out. We'll see if we see some other trailers, but it might go up there. Try going up here to the right, see what happens. You know, doing these trailers, this is how the devs can really get us to use more of the map that's kind of not used, but you know, there it is. So I'm sure they, like, see these buildings, they built these buildings a long time ago. I'm sure they had a lot of these things in the back of the head that they wanted to do for a long time. And it just, you know, eventually you get to it. It's like we all do this with our builds. Like we have a ton of shit we want to get done and we, you know, never, don't necessarily get to it, you know. Priorities change, and so I'm sure for them the priorities have changed here and there. As priorities have changed, you know, they, you know, put certain stuff on back burner. We know they've done that before, you know. GSI. JSI. But like, this is a cool building. They could do some more cool stuff with these types of buildings, like you know, not necessarily this one, but like they could do some stuff where you know, you bring certain metals to the building and it spits out a trailer like this. Instead of getting the 11,000 for it that we got, you get the value of all the metal plus whatever. So it's now 100 grand, but you have to deliver it to a construction site that's going to use the pipe. You know, so that's something that they could do. But it'd be fun to get up here and do some mining. What do we got for cash here? 60? Let's see what we got around here for a gas station. Brains Train Yard, what's 45 grand? Like, see, they have a propellant factory. What is this? See, I don't know what's here. Let's go down there. I want to check that out. So it's over the bridge and south. When they added these transport missions, they did add a bunch of new areas. One thing I want to do is, I did this when we were doing multiplayer mining. I put in storage up in there, and that way I can store it there and then spawn the train after I've despawned all my mining equipment. There's that bus. We're not going to do that bus, but that bus is going down here. What's the price on it? $5 grand. If I have one of my wreckers out here, so what I'm looking for is if I had a gas station like that, those are free spawn areas. I can spawn my land vehicles for free. I just would need one of those to be able to spawn one of my wreckers to get that bus transpoed. Just exploring a little while I'm out here. Yeah, I'm very curious to see what the next update's going to be. You know, they just came out with the buoyancy block. That was a good one. They've had some really good updates lately. I'm curious to see what they come up with next. A lot of these have been long-standing things that people have been wanting. Doing a pretty good job trying to add those things in. Yeah, and these new trailers, they make it a lot more enjoyable to explore the map. The goats? Yeah, there's the goats. I think they could do some farming here. We've got goats, we've got bison. Got a lot of good stuff we could do with farming. That'd be a good update. You know, like doing delivery missions where, for example, you deliver things to this little village. You know, food, all manner of different things. So that would be really cool. Yeah, because they have these POIs already. They just need to fill in uses for the POIs. And doing stuff like that where, like, you know, they could do farming, like I was saying, where you have to, like, go collect these goats and whatnot, and then you put them on your farmland, and you put them in a fenced-in area, and then over time they reproduce, and then you know, I'm not a huge fan of, but you shoot them, or you bring them to the slaughterhouse, and they just disappear. And then you get food. You know, you get a pallet of food, and then you take that pallet of food and you can deliver it at these towns for money. You know, that would be a cool thing to do. Driving like a maniac here. Driving like a maniac. Yeah, it expands gameplay. It lets you kind of get more all over the map. Oh. Let's see, did I damage my front a little bit? Oh shit, pay attention before you roll your truck over here. It's down here to the left. Yeah. What's that over there? I don't know if I've ever been over there. Okay, so like this is, I haven't seen this before. So these are things that the devs have always put some, the devs have put some like sneakies in here before of things that might come in the future. They did that with like the rocket stuff well before we ever got the space DLC. And so like stuff like this is like, you know, paddocks for animals. You know, whether they just did it for scenery or they plan to do it or they're like, hey, maybe we'll get back to this and do something with it. Maybe we won't, you know, but it's there. What is this? Like, this is an animal trading yard, so it would not surprise me if they are thinking of doing some sort of farming, which would be fantastic. You know, I know they're doing the the trailers out of here, but it wouldn't surprise me if they also do some, end up using it for more, you know? What is this one? That's the train. So this garage is free, so we could go bring our truck, turn it in, get something different if we needed. Those are free. So like we could go do the wrecker if we wanted. Car and Industries, they, like I said, you know, you could do something where, for example, instead of bringing the metal here, you bring it there, and then it turns it into products, like a pallet of, you know, I-beams or ingots or whatever, finished products. It would do finished products, and then those finished products would sell for much more money, and you go sell those off. But you can kind of see like how this could be used where, you know, right now we just get trailers, but they could do some sort of animal husbandry thing, which I think would be very popular. You know, the naysayers are always going to say nay. That's why they're called naysayers. But, yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. FJ Warner, so that's a good one. That can go back to FJ. Alright, so this one's we're gonna take this one. But this is good. Like, this is one thing you want to do is, the big thing in logistics, you always want to go out full, and you want to come back full, ideally. And so, like, you know, Cobalt, we could have run to JSI. I'm sure we could have found something at JSI that would have gone somewhere else we wanted to go. Or we can drive a little bit further and get one for where we want to go back to, which is FJ. So we'll go back to FJ, and we'll drop off this trailer. But it gives us something to do on the way. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. Alright. You know, I like how they kind of made things have a theme. Like, this is a livestock trailer, and they made it look like it was a, you know, an auction house for livestock. And, you know, they have a farm, and it's got some bales on the trailer, and so I think that's pretty neat. So one thing that would be kind of cool to do is they have well trailers that you can put these types of well cars for trains that you can put these type of trailers on. And so that would make it cool where you could put them on the trains. There's a goat in the road. Yeah, they could do some pasture train stuff where, like, for example, that village is right next to the rails, and so you could have it where, you know, you get like 5 people at this village need transportation to FJ Warner, and so you, which is also right next to the train tracks, and so you could take a train down, you could go pick the people up, you know, put them on the train, or you could go down there with some sort of land vehicle, go pick them up, put them on the train. That'd be fun. You know, they have those stations there. Could make it so. You know, I don't think they just randomly put those in for scenery. They could have. It doubles as scenery, but it's also like, if they ever want to expand there, you have that infrastructure in already. I think it works better as a, either you have a kiosk where you're like, hey, I'd like to do this mission here, or As you kind of approach it, like the other missions, like the rescue missions, when you get close, it spawns the people in, so they're not spawned the whole time, causing lag. Bison, just a huge one. Bison are pretty huge. I like all the animals. I think it's cool to see them. What is that base there? What was that? I just saw it. Okay, is that the regular airport? Gotta be. Yeah, it's gotta be the airport. So when you hear my wheel squeal, what's happening is I'm in too high of a gear. Now, in real life, the engine would lug. But, you know, again, you have to look at, like, how many problems, simple problems a lot of new players have, and people who might not understand the mechanics of all this is, like, they're going to be like, oh my god, my car doesn't work. Oh my god, this is terrible. The game sucks, or, you know, whatever. So it's a compromise where you make it so, yes, it slips, but it makes it easier to work with. And so that's kind of a compromise for that. Like, if I go up too high of a gear, I'll start slipping, where you wouldn't do that IRL. You would lug, and you would slip your tires when you are in too low of a gear. But again, that makes it so that somebody can have a very high, like if you notice brand new players, what they'll often do, they'll have this screaming lawnmower sounding engine that's revved super duper duper high, and and they have no real transmission. They just slowly let the clutch in. IRL, if you did that, you burn up your engine and you burn up your clutch. Well, the game allows you to do that so that somebody who doesn't have a lot of knowledge yet can easily make a car that just works, you know. They just, you know, gently start to add the clutch in, and you notice that's how a lot of new players will play, is they'll rev their engine up, and then they'll just slowly apply as much clutch as they need to get going the speed they want. And if you did that in real life, you'd burn up your clutch plates in a couple minutes, and you need new clutch. But you can do it in game. So it's like, and then if they learn how to do it properly with a transmission and an auto clutch, you know, you get a much better realistic system. But it's just for ease of use for people who, you know, it's to lower the floor of the game. Now it gets aggravating if you know enough, because you're like, why am my wheels spinning? My wheels shouldn't be spinning. But yet, if you understand that it's to try to make it more approachable, you know, that's why. Same reason why you don't necessarily need wing blocks to make something fly, right? You'd have to, severely limit the things you could build if you had to have specific wing blocks, right? You couldn't have the shapes you wanted. Things would always look, you know, a certain way, and it would be pretty boring pretty quickly. But, you know, like the only things I use wing blocks on are my ultralights, because I need them to be ultralight, and I need very, 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 very light wings on there, and I need the added lift because I want to get off the ground at a slower speed because I have very weak engines. See if that's turning. Yep, it's slowly pumping, so we know we're refining. Yep, you can see it's slowly turning. I could improve that to refine more. I never have any problem making money late game. Because, like, I'll go over there when that tank's full. It's something like, I think, 15,000 liters. It's $6. So you're right there, $70,000. And I'm not going to bring an enormous barge worth. I'll bring, like, I'll go fly in someone in a container in the back of a plane. And that will, I'll fly up to the military base. And that will allow me to get, you know, go get a quick $70,000 of cash injection. And so I don't really need it to be ultra fast. You know, you make money pretty quickly. We just dropped off a trailer for 11,004. We're bringing back another one for 11,4, so there's 22,8. And then we just found another 18,000, right? So there's $40,000 we just made on this trip. So pretty good money run there. You know, my fuel usage is usually pretty negligible. It gets to the point where it's not negligible once we get to really huge vehicles like my home ships. But again, the home ship's job is to do something like move containers while you're out doing a rescue. So you're doing a rescue while it's moving containers. So you get that double duty. And that makes you good money. Because I can do like 5 rescues while the ship is driving from point A to point B to drop off the containers. You know. IRL, I'd be able to stick my head out the window, which is a lot easier to back up. And because I could stick my head out the window, I could more easily see the trailer. I can use the mirror too. We'll use the mirror. Alright, jackknife that one. Yeah, I should be able to like look right up, hang out my window. That's usually how I try to back up a trail. You roll down your window, you look up, and you can really intuitively back up a trailer. Like I can't see my trailer until I pretty much jackknifed it to where I need to. So I need to make it easier so I can turn these mirrors. I don't think I put them on this. Some of them, they have it where I can adjust the mirror angle. This one doesn't have it. Let's go put this away. We're drilling some oil. That's going to make some money. I think we'll finish up there. But yeah, we got that challenge helicopter to keep working on. That one's going to take a while, especially because I want to get some Lua panels in there. I can do a quick analog panels if I need to, but I'd like to get some Lua panels in there. But yeah, made some good cash on this run. Bought a new base here, so we've got 4 total bases right now. It's with episode 11, so that's gone pretty quick. Let's wait for that autosave to stop. All right, good. All right, good. So we got a good bit of cash. 111 back in the bank. And we've got FJ, we've got Draymore, we've got Spy Cakes and Komodo. So that's good. That gives us access to all of here, some new missions, some new things to do. And then we can get something on the mainland up here would be nice. Military base, we can sell some jet fuel when that becomes available. So I like to fly at FJ, fly up here, land, deposit my jet fuel in there. That's a good money maker. Plus we need jet fuel for some of our vehicles so we can fly it in and drop it off. So a lot of things to do. This also unlocks the ability for me to start doing some mining. We've got the iron mine right here. Get some mining going. That would be fun as well. And fishing. So hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a like. If you're new and you enjoyed it, consider subscribing. And I will see you guys next one.